if you know anything about Dudley or associated with Dudley, and follow us on LinkedIn and all the places, we've recently kind of formally established and stood up our in-house services team, and that was a need that we saw. We've always done a lot of in-house type support work, whether it's corporate land jobs, helping with DO projects, helping with merger, post-merger type work. We've talked about that on the podcast before.
Yeah.
We do a lot of that work, but it's always like it comes to us and then we put a plan together and execute. And we've done good work, but when you are in these consolidation seasons in our industry that we're in, uh, the need for that outsourced kind of in-house land support, it seems like it always grows. So we decided to stand up and dedicate a team to purely focus on that. It's something we've again done for a long time. Mike Gibson has been a part of Dudley for a number of years through Associated Resources, which was a Dudley company. Um, and we sold ARI a couple years ago. Mike stayed with ARI, but he came back to Dudley recently, and his pure focus is to work and focus on that in-house services side of our business. We also hired Kelly Quarring. Everybody that has seen that, we're super excited to have her in, and as a part of that team, to have that kind of dedicated back office, land administration, corporate land, staffing type focus. So it takes a lot off of me, takes a lot off of our project management folks as well, and it also just really allows us to focus on the needs of our clients. A lot of this stuff came to us, and now we're focusing on who needs the support, really telling people how we can do it, learning more about what the needs are. We're going to be much more in tune with that. So that's what Mike and Kelly are doing. And our intuition was right from a timing standpoint, because getting Mike and Kelly in and then starting to get out there and get in front of our clients and people in the industry, man, it's like everybody's like, gosh, I need this. So that's always encouraging, that our gut was right. But we've had a number of
Yeah.
meetings. One of the things we had recently was just a meeting with a client who, has some outsourced people in their shop, landmen in particular, helping with just well planning and rig schedules and just that type of stuff. And they're going to need more support. And they're in a situation where they don't have the authority to bring on full-time employees. So they need like horsepower, right? And they asked us, are there a bunch of these people out there? And we're like, well, they are in waves, yes and no. And then the conversation evolved, and beyond landmen into division order people, land administration, lease analyst, and even more so, it was a resounding, man, there were fewer of those people out there, that do
Mm.
contract, short term type work. And it really just, the conversation went around, it kind of evolved to just talking about how did we get here as an industry? Why are there so few of those people out there? So really interesting conversation. I think for us, it stresses the importance of recruiting and identifying talent and making sure that if people are out there, that we know who they are, and they have a relationship and they're set up with us to be able to support our clients. So it reinforced the
Yeah.
need, and it also reinforced the work that we need to do to be out there and be in front of those folks, so that we can connect them with work opportunities through the staffing company or through the short term project kind of work that we do at Dudley Land every day.
Yeah. So w- maybe share a little bit about how did the industry get here?
Hmm. Well, ups and downs, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Historically, those entry level DO division order type roles and land administration type roles are entry level positions. Um,
I,
there's some people that do it for a career. They love it. They're paid very well. It's what they want to do. But a lot of times people get into those roles looking for that landman role. They want to work
yeah.
up to that landman role. And some of the people that have that kind of ambition and desire and passion for land work, started in land admin or DO, and they've worked their way up. And the industry hasn't backfilled that, right? Um, and the people that are really good in DO and land administration they're actively working. They're a sought after
Mhm.
commodity. Another thing, you don't have the university programs out there that are tailored to filling those roles, right? If you want
Right.
to be an in-house landman, you go to one of the energy management programs. There are 5, 6, 7 universities across the country that have specific programs tailored to being an in-house landman or being a field landman, or just generally there's that introduction. But what you don't see is like the finance or accounting, you know, um, majors that have an energy focus, right? That may steer
Right.
people into those opportunities. So it's a little bit of a pipeline issue. It's a little bit of a just promotion issue of those people who have got in and were good at that and worked their way up into those higher paying opportunities. Um,
Hmm.
so it's and then there's an age gap. Like we talked about it. I'm the oldest of the young, right?
Yeah.
Um, everybody, all of us at the table, we're kind of in that same generation, and we talked about people that started at the same time we did, but they were in land administration. They've worked up. So it's one of those things as an industry. Again, it kind of goes back to the recruiting. We've talked a lot about internally about how do we develop this talent? How do we take a good field landman and maybe present them with an opportunity to learn division orders in house
Yeah.
and refresh their career? So
Yeah.
that's a long answer to a basic question, but it's a complicated thing that's just kind of happened over the years.
Yeah. Well, I don't think the energy industry is unique necessarily in that
Yeah.
more of these entry level roles across the board are getting very difficult. And especially as you think about the introduction of AI into some of these different roles, I mean, it
Exactly. Like,
completely changes
do I need this
everything.
role?
You
um,
saw Microsoft. I mean, I don't know when this is going to go live, but Microsoft laid off 7,000 just yesterday.
no way.
And it was immediate. It was, hey, today you're done. See ya.
Wow.
And yeah, pretty
Well,
nuts. So
I think a company that big is like, we're going to force ourselves to figure out how to do it. You
yeah,
know?
it's, I can't imagine what's going to follow suit. So, we mentioned Kelly and Mike. We mentioned Bryce earlier, but we need to talk about his promotion. And I want to hear more from your perspective, the strategy behind the promotion for Bryce.
Yeah. Yeah. So it just to kind of summarize this, Bryce Winter's been a big part of our company for many years. Bryce and I started,
Yeah.
he just had his 20th anniversary with the company. I had
Mhm.
my 20th anniversary, 6, 8, 9 months ago as well. So we spent a lot of time together. We've come up through the business. Like he likes to say the ways of the Dudley, like we all kind of live that and know it. So, first off, he was well deserving. He's got a ton of experience. So we recently promoted him to director of land over our Western U.S. kind of operation area. And for me and for us strategically, from a leadership standpoint, it's really a matter of attention and focus.
Mm.
I we followed a very similar career path. I ran projects and then was an area manager and a vice president. And over time and all the things that we're trying to do with at Dudley Land, more and more of my time was taken away from giving attention to our project managers and even to our clients to a certain extent, because I'm trying to run a business and make sure that we're staying ahead of trends and opportunities and focusing on running a business, and also trying to be a leader, for our project managers, and really having my pulse on the needs of our clients. And so it's a process that Bryce and I have worked on for, frankly, about a year. It's
Wow.
I had the benefit of like learning, having some lessons learned from whenever I took that step from a project manager to an area manager, which is what we used to call it. So Bryce and I worked a lot. We worked a lot on leadership development. We had a lot of very frank conversations about, what's gonna be required of him to take that step, and be there for the team and be a leader of those managers as opposed to running projects, which he's obviously very, very good at. And he responded, and we worked through that, and it was very calculated. Um, what it means for us is that, our project managers are going to have more support. He's going to be helping and really focusing on getting the right manpower and the right people in the right places, um, making sure that what we're doing aligns with what our clients need. He's going to be spending more time with clients than I've been able to in recent years. Like I have that guilt of like, oh, I got to be out there more. But his focus is going to be largely on that. What are our clients' needs? How are we executing on the jobs that we're doing for them? How else can we help our clients? And then also we do a lot of things. We'll probably talk about, rocks. here later in this
Yeah.
conversation, but we do a lot of things internally to better the company. What are initiatives that we want to do that make us better? And a lot of that falls to like operational execution, right? From the
Yeah.
land side of things. He's going to have some accountability and ownership of that stuff because he's going to be tied to the work that we're doing and the needs of our clients. So we make sure that things that we decide we want to do are being executed in a way that really drives home what we're trying to do in the best interest of our clients.